Welcome to the AI Research Roundup. I'm Alex. Today we're looking at a paper from the Hugging Face trending list, published on September 3rd, 2025, which was about 6 days ago. The striking result is that synthetic agents often fail internal behavioral coherence, with disagreement strongly suppressed even for maximally opposed preferences, where conversations average agreement around 3.6 instead of the expected 1.8. The paper is titled, "Are LLM Agents Behaviorally Coherent? Latent Profiles for Social Simulation," and the implications for social simulation are quite significant. In short, a modular probing framework reveals latent profiles and dialogue outcomes, showing positive sentiment bias, topic-driven distortions, and only partial success on standard consistency tests across multiple model families. So the previous segment outlined the core claim about suppressed disagreement. Figure 1 presents the probing framework. Agents first reveal a latent profile with two parts, a stance on a topic and an openness score, which functions like a slider for how persuadable they are. The middle panel then pairs agents to converse on a concrete prompt so their positions can interact. The right panel scores agreement, checking whether the dialogue outcome matches the paired latent profiles. The key idea is the pairing should manufacture predictable agreement or disagreement if behavior is internally consistent. Alright, the previous figure laid out why suppressed disagreement matters. Figure 2 shows the 5-stage pipeline that tests coherence across dialogues. The left panels define the topic and its contentiousness, which acts like an external lever on difficulty. The center panels generate an agent profile on bias, then elicit a latent preference and an openness score that indicate stance and persuadability. The rightmost panels pair two agents to talk and then score agreement turn by turn, so predicted alignment can be compared with the revealed profiles. So the previous figure explained the 5-stage pipeline. Table 1 lists 9 dialogue topics and tags each with a contentiousness level, which acts like a difficulty dial for agreement. The level 3 rows cover hot-button issues like taxes, immigration, and universal healthcare. The level 2 rows include lifestyle and work questions such as scooters, student pay, and remote work. The level 1 rows focus on low-stakes preferences like seasons, vacation spots, and soda, so topic choice can be separated from ideological load. So the previous table established topic difficulty levels. Figure 4 shows how agreement changes as the preference gap between paired agents widens. The box plots drop from about 4.2 at gap 0 to roughly 3.6 at gap 4, which means alignment decreases as views diverge. The surprising part is that even at maximal divergence, agreement stays high rather than nearing strong disagreement, suggesting systematic suppression of conflict. This pattern supports the claim that conversation outcomes skew toward agreement. Well, the previous figure highlighted suppressed disagreement across gaps. Figure 6 shows agreement distributions when one agent is fixed at strong dislike or strong favor, which isolates the effect of sentiment direction. The teal curves for 1 anchored pair sit consistently left of the pink curves for 5 anchored pairs, so negative alignment yields lower agreement than positive alignment under the same gaps. Strikingly, the 1-1 curve overlaps the 2-5 curve, indicating degraded agreement even with identical preferences. Alright, the previous figure contrasted positive and negative sentiment. Figure 5 presents density plots comparing expected versus observed agreement across preference gaps, which tests whether disagreement is being suppressed. The left and middle columns show linear and nonlinear shifts, and the teal observed peaks cluster near 3 to 4, even when the gap equals 4, so disagreement barely appears. The right column fixes agent bias at 2, and the teal peaks remain high, which indicates persistence despite stronger prompting. The takeaway is that agreement is inflated across all gaps. So the previous figure showed inflated agreement across gaps. Table 4 summarizes which models pass 6 consistency tests, split by preference and openness, with surface level and in-depth columns. Every model passes test 1 and test 5, which means larger preference gaps reduce agreement and higher openness increases it. All models fail test 2 and test 3, so symmetry and shared negative sentiment do not hold. Mixed outcomes appear for test 4 and test 6, which signals topic effects, and high gap cases still distort behavior. Wrapping up, 2 takeaways stand out. Synthetic agents look consistent on the surface, yet their dialogues reveal inflated agreement, positive sentiment bias, and topic-driven distortions that break internal coherence. The broader implication is clear. Social simulations should require behavioral consistency checks, not just human matching. That is it for this episode of the AI Research Roundup. I am Alex. Thanks for listening.